So in my opinion, there's a lot of things wrong about the world. But the one thing that I thought that you would think wouldn't need to be changed is sexual harassment and abuse. My definition of sexual harassment, if you're wondering, is non-consensual sexual behavior in a public place. That could be someone posting something of you on the internet without you asking or without you wanting them to do that. It could be catcalling. It could be even touching your face if it's meant in the wrong way. Sexual harassment is very common, like everywhere. Like you wouldn't even know if you're being sexually harassed because it happens all the time. Sexual assault. My definition of sexual assault is non-consensual sexual anything. It could be rape. It can be sexual harassment. Sexual assault is just the umbrella term of all of it. And all of it is bad. Point blank, period. It's all bad. All of it. It's so sad that anyone has to deal with any type of sexual abuse. Like, it's really sad that anyone would do that to someone. The reason why I'm talking about this sexual assault is because I read this book. It's a really good book. 10 out of 10 recommend. It's really good. It's a series. It's Silence and Broken Silence. Silence and Broken Silence are two romance novels. It would definitely be rated MA. Only read it if you can. Only read it if you can handle it. So Silence is about a girl named Oakley. And she goes through a type of trauma, which you can guess what. And because of this trauma, she hasn't talked for 11 years. She's scared to talk. She's been scared to talk since she was 4 years old. And in Silence, she's 16. And Broken Silence is just about Oakley and her dealing with her trauma and her actually confronting her trauma. That book has inspired me to talk about this topic that has been shown basically in a lot of places right now. To 13 Reasons Why, and books, to things on the news and articles and YouTube videos, people telling their stories, to the Me Too hashtag, to nonprofit organizations on Instagram trying to show awareness of the things that are happening, to TV shows, to movies, to jobs, in schools, in homes. Sexual assault is everywhere. It's happening to so many women, children, and boys, and even men. People that you hang out with on a day-to-day basis could be harassed or assaulted and you don't even know. At least 1 in 9 females are assaulted. That's like at least one girl in your class. That's so sad. Oh my God. I could never imagine going through something like that. And the fact that multiple girls and boys at my school could be going through that right now. And I wouldn't know it, or their friends wouldn't know it. I have asked 3 of my friends to have an interview with me where I'm going to be asking them about topics about sexual assault and what they think about it. Yes. Okay. Okay.
What does the word sexual assault mean to you, or what is your definition of it?
When someone takes
advantage of another human sexually, and it's not like the person who is the victim, it's not with consent, and it's by force.
From my understanding, is the unfair act of, taking advantage of somebody sexually or physically in some way that's considered sexual. It's hurtful. It's not consensual. And it's a serious thing. So sexual assault is not good.
Anyone touching or hurting someone mentally or physically in any way that the person is uncomfortable in. So any type of online or physical actions that is inappropriate and not wanted by the other person.
Have you or someone you know ever been a victim of sexual assault that you are willing to or have permission to share?
Yes, but I'm not going to.
Okay.
I know someone who is a victim, but I probably should not talk about it.
Okay.
Yes, I have.
What is your definition of the saying, boys will be boys, and do you think there's a problem with this saying? If so, why?
When you're young, I think that as a child, it means, oh, they're going to go play in the mud, they're going to go do stupid things as a little 5-year-old. But with age, the saying is manipulated and changed to make it where adults can think, older people think that, oh, they can go do what they want because they are a guy, and that's just how their mindset is, that's how they think.
I don't have my own definition, but what I was told growing up, boys will be boys. When I was told all boys will act the same towards a woman or a girl, and that they do certain things that are just they think is okay, but isn't.
It depends on the context of the situation. So if you're saying boys will be boys after, let's say, a boy sexually assaults a girl, and it's maybe it's not considered an overwhelmingly alarming act, it's still a sexual assault, and you say, boys will be boys. It's not true. It's not fair. I don't think that's fair to boys or girls if you're saying that. If you're saying boys will be boys when a guy does something wrong, and boys get sexually assaulted too. So it's just
I don't agree with the boys will be boys as in the aspect of all boys act the same, and I somewhat disagree but somewhat agree on that, because if a guy cheats on a girl.
What about if a guy assaults a girl and they use the excuse, or their parents or someone else uses the excuse oh, boys will be boys, it doesn't matter?
One, it does matter. Two, I guess what they mean is even if you tell them, they'll never change.
It's not an excuse. If that's what happened, if a guy does that, and you say boys will be boys as an excuse.
Yeah.
It's not true. It's not fair. It's unfair if you're gonna classify all boys as boys will be boys kind of thing, and it's unfair to say that, use that as an excuse if you ever do that to somebody.
How do you think we as a society can end sexual harassment/abuse, or do you think it can never be stopped?
If we educate younger people on it, and also adults, because it's I guess it's really common with adults and minors, but it's not. I'm not saying that just happens with adults and minors. It does happen with a minor to minor, and it could happen to someone who's even younger than you. It doesn't matter the age where it happens. I think if we educate both boys and girls, because girls aren't the only ones who can get sexually assaulted, even though it's more common. I would think we should educate on why it is not good, and find out the deeper reason why they even feel like they I think they can just manipulate someone and take over what power they have, whether it's at home or anywhere.
I hope that it will end eventually, but it's such a big problem. It's so, sometimes it's really quiet, sometimes it's loud, but it's just such a prominent obstacle that we constantly face as a society. You know, it's not, I don't know, it's hard, it'd be hard to overcome that, but I think with the right preparations, the right efficient research, I guess we could do some research. As long as we have like safe places to talk about this, I think is the first step to solving this is making sure you're safe and you're able to speak your mind.
I don't know if it can ever be stopped because there are so many people that they don't want to talk about things that have happened to them, and so many people go their whole life just keeping it to themselves or not telling anybody about the person who did it to them, so they could be hurting other people and it might not ever be found out. So I don't know if it can ever be truly stopped, but I definitely think to make the percentage of people getting assaulted lower, there should be more like light and information to the subject brought out.
Do you have anything else to add?
Sexual assault is not a joke. I hear a lot of people put down other people in classes, and I feel it's even disturbing that I have to bring this up. But I just think that I know that we don't live in a perfect world, but everyone around us, if they think about what they're saying and what they're doing, if they think that's right, then they're wrong. If it's helping them, I don't know what's wrong with them. I don't know why they would even think about doing something like this. And I as a victim, know that it's not, oh, it's a one-time thing, or it just happened, I'm over it. Like, it's still deep in me. And the victims, they don't forget about it. But I feel like the people who do it to the victims will.
Yeah.
So it's not a joke, and it's not right.
Talking to my friends about this subject was really hard. And it should be really hard because it's not an easy subject and it can't be fixed overnight. And it's something that people don't normally talk about in school, and they should, because a lot of it is happening in schools. So one of the questions I asked my friends was, how do you think we as a society can end sexual harassment / assault, or do you think it can never be stopped? I think we could minimize it. I don't think it could ever be fully stopped because it's been happening for literally centuries, if not that, millenniums. It's been happening for a long time. And I don't know if humans can change. I personally don't have a lot of faith in mankind. But I do have faith in those good people. So one way we can minimize it is if we brought awareness to it, is if we heard people's stories and validated them. Because majority of the time, people tell authorities or people tell family members or friends and they don't believe them. Or they use the excuse if a guy abused a person, boys will be boys. Or just think that they're crazy. Or that they're overreacting,
or that's just how they thought at the moment, or well, you asked for it, but they don't ask for it. The person who did that used them in the worst way and the most vulnerable way possible. There is this Instagram account. It's a nonprofit organization called Why I Didn't Report. It has people's stories on why they didn't go to the authorities or why they didn't tell anyone. If people heard their stories, if people actually listened, if people didn't think that they were crazy or that they asked for it and just validated what they said, like how this Instagram account is trying to do to bring awareness, I think we could do it. I think we, as a society, can somewhat end sexual assault.